Looks like we are live, guys. What is going on? Welcome to another episode of the Popecast, which I haven't had for the last couple of weeks to months because it's been busy. But since we're all quarantined, I want to be bringing it back into a live format. And in a sense, as you've seen in the title, I do have a guest this week, and this is what I'm planning to do: is every Saturday bring in a guest to discuss movies, let you get to know a little bit more about them, and as well as we talk about movie news and all sorts of that great stuff as well. So make sure in the comments, in the captions, in the live chat, leave your questions, what you guys want to answer. We will get to those at the end of the show. I will be going to the live chat, though. If you do throw in a super chat, that is very much appreciated, and we'll get straight to that. And as well, if you guys are new here, or in general, if you just love watching movies, or in general, if you're just watching the stream, hit that like button because it does help us out in the whole algorithm. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce my guest, Chris from 3C Film. How you doing, man?
Hey man, doing good. Sorry, I had it on mute. Just didn't want to interrupt you. But thank you guys for bringing me onto your channel. It's good during this quarantine that we all stick together because things have been pretty boring. But hey, I'm happy to talk some movie news and get out of this boredom for a little bit.
Yeah, totally, man, totally. Of course, like the title of this is The Future of Films with you. Before we get kind of in that main topic and stuff, I like to kind of interview people. I kind of like to get to know a little bit more about you and let the people know. So tell me, what got you in the movies, man? Like, what was that big thing that got you into movies? And what was like the first movie you remember seeing that you're like, damn, I really love like this?
Well, the thing that got me into movies is all thanks to my dad, because back when Blockbuster was around, he worked at Blockbuster, and it was funny because he worked at like the Blockbuster warehouse, so the places that would distribute, I guess, the VHSs or DVDs to places. And it was during the transition from VHSs to DVDs. So every other day they would be throwing away VHS copies that they didn't need anymore. And he would be able to come home with a box of the stuff. And so my earliest memories is digging through that box and just popping in random movies and watching all that. I think Ace Ventura, though, is the thing that got me to like, whoa, I want to be as funny as that guy. I want to do things just like that guy. So Blockbuster and Ace Ventura, man.
Hey, I can kind of see that on your channel, though. I mean, I see the humor coming out in each and every one of your videos.
I try.
I mean, I think you've seen that. Like when I do my Clone Wars reviews, I wake up at like midnight, watch it, review it, film it, and usually when I'm editing or like waiting for it to export and stuff, I'll sit there and like watch one of your news videos that you put up later in the day, to kind of get, because I mean, you do have a lot of those great things that keep you up to date, and
Thank you.
I want to know when it comes to that, what like. When you're picking out movie news, like what do you pick out the ones that interest you the most? Is it the ones that you think are like people will really want to hear about? Because for me, that Nicolas Cage movie you keep talking about, I'm all psyched for that. I wish more people were talking about it.
Wally's Wonderland. Yeah. When it comes to picking it out, well, first I do have to be interested in it because it's really hard to talk about something you're just not interested in. So with that said, it kind of rules out like James Bond movies, Star Wars, things like that I just couldn't get into and I can't be passionate about. But once in a while, I'll run into a random project that no one knows about, like Wally's Wonderland, which is this Nicolas Cage movie where he's going to be a janitor in an amusement park where these animatronic puppets turn evil. Something like that is just right up my alley. And it just comes down to, what do I think people would be willing to watch? Sometimes I take a gamble with those Nicolas Cage videos on like, who knows if anyone's interested. But I think if people see how passionate you are about it, they'll watch it either way. Like I really dug your Deadpool Cats review video.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was really awesome. And
thanks, man.
I thought you did such a great job with that.
Well,
that's how I pick it.
Well, it's like, so like for that, like my sister wanted that movie for her birthday because she liked it. And I was like, all right, if I'm going to go out of my way to go find a copy of this movie, which I didn't put in this video, dude, I went to 3 different stores to find that fucking movie. 3 stores and nothing, no one had it. So I don't know if people were buying it out. I don't know if people were interested in it, but I finally went to one Target and they had it. So I literally filmed like multiple times of me running up with the glove and like people fucking staring at me. Like, why is this kid running up to the movie section? But it's interesting in that whole part of how that works. And I think that's what's like fun about YouTube, especially right now. I think we all have to be a little bit more creativity. I mean, you've been doing these video game series, so I'm curious, are you big in the video games? I mean, I saw that Batman one and I was wondering.
Yeah, so I'm just a layman. I enjoy video games, but I enjoy the days of like the PlayStation 2 era, stuff like that, where you didn't need an internet connection, where you didn't have to download 30 gigabytes of the game, even though you have the CD there with you. And it's all about online playing and being so competitive, just because I'm horrible at competitive games. Everyone beats me when I join Fortnite or Call of Duty Warzone. So I guess I was just nostalgic for those old games. And there's back in the day they would make basically video games of the exact movie. Like the Captain America First Avenger, he had a video game.
Yeah.
Thor, the first movie, had a video game. They don't really do that anymore. So
No, it's
I don't
really
know,
weird.
there was even a Cat in the Hat video game, and it's like it was a weird era where there's like just this plethora of movies. I mean, video games based off movies. So I kind of wanted to dive into that, but not take it too seriously. It's going okay right now. See if we keep it up. I think I'm doing Jaws the game next, so hopefully that goes good. But
I've never played that one.
I haven't either. I'm about to start it after we get done here, but it's just trying something new because, as you know, right now with everything going on and movies being shut down and everything kind of being dead right now, it's us really struggling to find some content to make for our channel. So that's just one thing.
Well, yeah, totally. So like, I remember when this whole thing started happening, I'm like, all right, so we got like a month, so I'll plan out like a month stuff, and then I'm like, oh, no, we got like 3 months, so now I gotta stretch a lot of material because like for me, like I love video games, and that's kind of like my other thing. Like if I wasn't talking about movies, my whole channel would be video games, straight up. I bought in like Elgato's multiple times to kind of just try that streaming stuff. I feel like I'm pretty boring when I play a video game because I just want to focus in. I think I do earlier on this channel. I did do a whole live stream of me playing Resident Evil 7, which for a majority of it I was pretty boring. But there's one jump scare that I like love going back and rewatching of me straight up jumping and throwing the controller and screaming because it really got me. But I think that's what's fun about video. Like right now I'm going through the new Final Fantasy, which is freaking incredible. But I like what you're doing, kind of going back and revisiting like that Batman game, dude. I hadn't heard about that game since you just brought it up. I was like, I love that game. No one else talks about it.
It was fun. Yeah, I like it. But...
So with this all, I'm wondering what's like some of your favorite movies? Like what are the ones? I know Ghostbusters. I know Ghostbusters is right up there for you. But what else kind of sticks out to you when it comes to your favorite movies? Yeah,
usually the stuff you can see on my wall is my favorite. So I do like my Ghostbusters. I like the 90s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies. Back to the Future is my all-time favorite, right up there. Other than that, I like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. A lot of the horror films out there, like the Nightmare on Elm Street or the Scream series. I guess I lean towards horror, but I do like those like 80s, 90s movies that really bring me back.
And what's the scariest movie you've ever seen then? Like you love horror, so
that's hard to say because like I'll watch horror movies with friends or sometimes and they'll go like that wasn't even scary. And to me, it's not even about the scare factor. I like it more of like what would I do in those shoes? Like when you watch a Saw movie, you think to yourself, how would I get out of that trap? Would I have the guts to get out of it? Or the psychological torture of like, man, would I be able to get through that? So I wouldn't really say I have like a movie that scared me. I'm really trying to think back. Probably when I was younger, I'd obviously get scared. I guess it was the first Nightmare on Elm Street because like I said, digging in through those VHS tapes, I popped that movie and not knowing what it was. And I was too scared to get up and turn it off because I was just afraid of my surroundings. So I just kind of stuck through watching it.
Well, and that's how it goes. Like I remember the movies that like always get to me, and I don't think they're scary necessarily, but it's like afterwards, it's the paranormal movies. There's something about those. Like if you go home alone after those, every creak, every sound,
I get that. Then.
You just want to run, and I think that's why like I'm a big fan of found footage. That last Blair Witch I think is completely underrated when people talk about.
It was pretty good, yeah.
I mean, it was like exactly the same as the first one, but I liked it a little bit more, especially the stuff in the third act. But I think that's what's really unique about it. And so I'm also wondering with the future of films and everything in that whole entirety. Let's just kind of get into this. So everything's changing. And I'm wondering, like for me, what was that one movie that like got delayed that you're just like, that kills me. That kills me inside that it got delayed, and why?
Probably the Ghostbuster one, just because, I mean, if you've been following the fan base like you have for the longest time, you know the Ghostbusters fan base was turning very toxic with the female Ghostbusters. Not to say that movie's at fault, it's just the way fans reacted to that, I guess, is what really turned things around. And this new one by Jason Reitman really seemed to like please both sides of the people who wanted something new and the old fans. And I was just really looking forward to it, especially with all the, kooky marketing that Ghostbuster does with like the green Twinkies or things like that. And that's just like a whole nother year. Other than that, the other movies like the Candyman reboot, I was really interested to check out to see how that would go. Good thing we're still getting it this year in September instead of waiting a whole nother year.
I was worried that they were going to push it or VOD it. I was actually thinking they might have VOD'd it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been surprised with that either. But I would say the Ghostbusters one was the one that got me. Which one got you?
So for me, okay, like I mean, every single time it was like, okay, we have this month. I still have this plethora of movies. It kind of starts. So like the first one was A Quiet Place 2 because I was literally gonna see it in like 2 days, and that one killed me. That one it was like 2 days,
Oh
and
yes,
it's pushed back.
yeah. All our
The
screenings
next,
got canceled.
yeah, the next one that got pushed was Wonder Woman, which I like
Oh
the
yeah.
first one a lot, but the second one's like kind of had me more interested in it. Especially because I'm a major fan of the character of Cheetah, so I'm kind of like looking forward to that thing. And then
Yeah.
I know someone who saw a test screening of it, so like I know certain things about it that makes me a little bit more excited for it. But I'm with you on Ghostbusters, man. That one freaking killed me because the original Ghostbusters I love so much. And hearing that it got pushed back a full, like almost a year pretty much, really,
Yeah.
it sucks. And I get why. A lot of it's probably visual effects, reshoots, stuff like that they just don't have done. But if that's what's going to make the best movie, then I'm for it. If I'm going to throw one more out there, Tenet still has not moved. I know it's going to move. I'm just kind of waiting any day. And then I'm kind of also like wondering what they're going to do with Soul. I mean, Soul's still there. Soul's not moved from that June date. So I think there's a little smidge that it could go on Disney Plus. Little smidge on that.
A little smidge, yeah. Pixar lately has been like on a downwards trajectory, movie wise, not quality wise. Because I really enjoyed Onward more than I thought I was going to.
Same here, dude. I remember the first trailer came out. I'm like, eh. And then I heard the
all Pixar trailers never get me, yeah, unless they're like for a sequel that I know like the franchise is good, like a Toy Story or Cars. But every Pixar trailer never gets me. Like I definitely want to see that. The thing that makes me want to see it is the words Pixar. Yeah, like okay, I know that's quality.
You know which movie that really was for me was Coco. I didn't care for any of the trailers. I was like, this looks beautiful, but I don't care. And then I went and saw it like right after work the night it came out and loved it. Thought it was fantastic. I mean, that's probably top 10 Pixar films right there for me. What about like what would be your like top 5 Pixar? Like just staying in that realm.
Okay, number one for sure is Wall-E. I still get people every now and then who are like, really Wall-E, but I guess it's just because it's silent for a chunk of the movie. But I just those first 30 or however long he's by himself on his planet is just so I could just watch that on a loop. Just him having his life right there. But the rest of the movie I also really enjoy. I like A Bug's Life a lot. Obviously Toy Story. If I had to pick out of the 4, I would say probably the third one was the one that really stood out to me. The Incredibles. I'm trying to think of there's one more hidden gem, or not hidden gem, but just Pixar movie that a lot of people don't talk about, but I can't think of it right now.
There's a lot, man.
Oh, Ratatouille. There we go. No,
Ratatouille's great. Ratatouille is my second favorite. I mean, like if I'm being cheating, I would count all the Toy Stories as one. But if I had to choose one, it goes between the second and the first one a lot, just because I grew up with those ones. Throwing the second one being Ratatouille. I love Ratatouille. 3 is Inside Out, man. I think Inside Out.
Oh yes, Inside Out was
perfect. 4 would probably be Finding Nemo. I just rewatched that, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so good. And then Monsters Inc. is up there, but also The Incredibles, man. I love The Incredibles so much, and I think it's absolutely. And even the second one, it's funny. I think I still like the first one more, especially on rewatches for the second one. But I think the second one has some of the best animation that they've ever done, and I think that's what's insane about it. And I do see that Ryan O'Toole is in the chat. He said, "Sorry, Chris, I disagree. Wall-E is the most overrated Pixar film. Me and him reviewed it, so that's nice.
That's funny."
And then kind of jumping in here, one of the movies that also got delayed was the new Little Mermaid film from Disney. And Rex is asking, what do you think about the Halle Berry is going to play Ariel? I don't mind the casting.
I don't mind it.
I'm kind of excited for this new live action interpretation. They did just announce a Robin Hood live action interpretation yesterday.
Yeah,
which I love. And
it's going to be the animals.
Choice. Yes, and I love the director choice on it. Have you ever seen Blind Spotting, his first film?
I have not seen Blind Spotting. Is it good?
Oh, yeah, it's really good. And then he had a film at Sundance this year called Summertime, which I didn't love. I thought it was a little bit too long, but as a musical, because his films music is like a major part of them, but he really is good at getting down the story. So I think he's perfect for Robin Hood. Now it just comes down to who voices everyone.
The characters,
I think and how are they going to look? I mean, it's a weird one to choose. It's one of my favorite Disney animated films, but it's a weird one.
It is a weird one, but this one makes sense, even though, because like with Lion King, as much as I love Lion King, and there's another movie they also announced that they were going to do a CGI hybrid where it's Bambi, where it's live action animals, but these animals usually don't talk. They do talk, but they didn't want to go ahead and fully animate them and make it kooky. They really wanted to ground them. With Robin Hood, I think they're going to go the opposite direction, where it's like, okay, even though these are CGI live action characters, we're really going to animate them and show expression and be kooky, because Robin Hood is all about jumping on trees and singing and dancing and animals pretending to be human. So I think that it could work in their favor.
Well, and I think the movie that actually to look at the most is Detective Pikachu. That one took the cartoon and made it feel real, and I think that's the best one to do it. Real fast, movie Micah keeps asking this. I know you don't watch this, but he asked me, are you disappointed with Clone Wars Season 7 at all? Do you watch Clone Wars at all? Have you watched the animated series?
I'm a very casual Star Wars fan, so I only watch what goes to theaters, and then I'm on a Star Wars high for like 7 days, and then I just let go of the franchise.
Did you watch Mandalorian?
Oh, yes, I did watch Mandalorian, and I loved it. Some of my favorite Star Wars stuff in a long time.
So I'll say this, dude. You should try Clone Wars, because that's how I was for a while. Like I'm only movies. I don't really care about these animated shows. And then I think it was when Rebels came out, I actually watched Rebels when I heard that like Darth Maul was in it and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I gotta go check Clone Wars out after this. And I loved Clone Wars. There are a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot of, there's a couple episodes in there where in arcs that are just Jar Jar Binks doing Jar Jar Binks shit. But besides that, the show overall really like it actually makes you like Anakin's turn to the dark side make 100% like feel more. It's different. It's very unique. Like one of the last episodes, like you literally saw Anakin cut off this dude's arm with no remorse, just straight up, and then just kill him. So it's cool. And then speaking on the Pixar movie central, what is your least favorite Pixar movie? I think for me, it would probably be Cars 2. I think that's kind of...
Cars 2 was everyone. Like, what am I watching? That was a real bad one.
Yeah, it's not the best at all. Neither is... I don't think Brave is that good either. I think Brave kind of feels like a Disney film. Very, very down below.
No.
So it's unique in that part, but just kind of getting back to the future of movies, what is the one movie like this year that's still dated this year that you hope does not change at all, even maybe if it did get pushed back, because we don't know exactly when this is going to all go back to normal, and also like when do you think stuff's going to go back to normal, because I kind of have my feeling on it, but I'm curious on yours too.
I'm hoping either mid-July or towards the end of July. It sucks. It's like crazy. I would love to know if something like this has ever happened, but this would be the first time we have a summer season without summer movies, and being just so involved in the movie space. That's just wild to think that we didn't have any summer movies this year, but I'm going to say probably end of July. I'm hoping, I'm not very good at keeping up to date and looking at the news on this, because it just makes me paranoid and anxiety filled. So I'm not sure how things are going, but I mean, I have to believe by the end of July we're coming back. And
especially with the summer, like the heat killing the virus type thing, like that's something that could probably play in it. But yeah, I know you're still finishing up. So what was the movie?
Oh no, you're good. I was just a Black Widow. I just really want to see that movie. I just want to see. I hope that doesn't get pushed any further than it already has, which I don't think it will at November.
I think when it comes to, I think the only one I could actually see getting pushed back is Mulan, to be completely honest. Again. Probably. If anything is not, if everything still is bad, that's another one that I'm actually kind of interested in, but I'm kind of with you. I think what's going to happen is, I think the same thing that was happening in China, which is pretty much what they took, they opened the theaters for like 2 days or something, then they closed them back down, but they were taking Harry Potter movies, Avengers, Avatar, all this stuff, and they were going to throw it back into theaters. I think that's probably what's going to happen for the little bit of time. Like that. I think theaters will probably open up mid-June. And I think that's what we're going to get. We're going to get the Avatar, the Avengers, which I'm telling, I'll go to the theaters to see Avatar again. I haven't seen that in years. Inception and Interstellar were another one. I never got to see Interstellar in the theaters. That's another one that I would love to see what it looks like in the theaters. So it's really cool. And someone just said, 3C, you are the man. So just so you know, someone is cheering for you.
Thanks, man. I am a man. Thank you.
But yeah, it's really like kind of just down, and I just can't wait for we can go back to the movies, man.
That sucks is even when they open them back up, I don't think we're going to see as big of a resurgence into theaters as we're hoping for. I think it's going to be a slow moving upward. Like, because some people are thinking, all right, this day theaters are opening. Some studio's going to announce, all right, then we're going to open our movie that day. I think you're still going to see like onward numbers where it was a very low performing number for a movie that should have done a lot better. That's because people are still going to be fearful about what's out there. It's like, I know what they say, it's safe to go out there, but I'm gonna give it a few more weeks before I decide to go out.
Absolutely,
that's just my thinking.
And I think another thing is like I work in retail, and like we haven't been open for like 3 weeks now, which is completely weird. But I think for me, the thing to look at is, do they go back to normal operating hours? I'm in the mind. I don't think they will. I think it'll be like 4 days a week they're open.
Yeah.
Or we're open from this to this time, and it's reduced. People can come in and stuff in that nature. Someone does just ask you, what is your thoughts about the Matt Reeves Batman film? I think you've done so many videos on it, you know. It's kind of like just go and watch his channel. But I mean, for me, it's kind of the same thing. That is my most anticipated movie for the next 3 years. Like next 2 years, whatever the film comes out, I'm so excited for that movie and to see what they end up doing with it.
Yeah, even more with the comments Matt Reeves has been giving out in interviews right now because he's promoting his series Time from the Loop, I think it's what it's called. But just everything about it sounds so interesting. It's a very different looking Batman. There were so many videos that day. Did you like the Batmobile or the Batsuit when all that was announced?
I love both. I really love the suit. I know people were kind of giving it crap on the set photos, but I'm like, that's a stunt double in those. The suit could be a little bit altered because if he gets hurt, you know what I mean? Like, it's stuff like that. Like, I mean, I've never seen a set photo and been like, damn, that looks amazing. Like, remember when Shazam came out? Shazam was terrible. Shazam's looked freaking horrendous.
The movie, it looks great, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, people don't get like CGI enhances those suits like tenfold. I think the only one that I've ever seen like a normal set photo on and it looked decent was Deadpool, and that's because it doesn't need any CGI at all. So except for the eyes, of course. But like besides that, like I'm in love with that suit. I think it's really unique. I love the Batmobile. It makes sense. You know what? It's like second years being Batman. You gotta give the dude a break. He's coming into his own.
And you don't think he's gonna total that car? That's just a car. He's gonna destroy that thing.
Yeah, and I'm in it. I think he gets a different suit by the end of it. I think that's like,
and that's
I think the suit
kind of the thing in every Batman movie. He gets a new suit.
Absolutely, and I think I'm a fan of the Ben Affleck one a lot. That brutally like that's the one that was probably my favorite suit that we've gotten. I'm not a big fan of the armor one, but when it comes to armor, I do really like this one. Those gauntlets, though, I don't think are actually on the suit. I think that's something else too, again, for safety.
Yeah, we'll see. I have to know what they're there for. I don't think they look great either, but we'll see what they're there for. And if there's something cool that's like, okay, I can handle that being on the suit.
Yeah. Is there any surprises that you're hoping to get in this Batman movie that you haven't like heard of or anything?
Yeah. Where is he? Do I have him here? There he is. Robin. I want Robin to show up.
Think so?
I don't know. I think if he does, it's going to be like an end credit tease or some sort of thing that's just hinted in the background, and then maybe in later movies. Because I think this is just going to be focused on making sure Robert Pattinson is considered the new Batman, and they do that successfully. But I think if Matt Reeves really wants to be different, it's bringing in Robin and making him work in this universe. Because I think if you're a director who can pull that off, I mean, props, and it would be something very different. The fact that you could make that work, but I don't know. I have 40%. 40% is what I'm thinking he'll be in there.
I think because they've talked about this is like going to be a trilogy, which we know and then they're going to eventually tie it into Justice League somehow. They want this thing to go full franchise. Yeah. They want this thing to go full franchise, man. And with the whole Ezra Miller thing, that's just a whole.
God, who knows what's happening?
Absolutely,
over, I think.
At this point, the fact that no one said anything. I'm feeling the same thing too. I mean, if Amber Heard's still on Aquaman 2 after everything,
exactly.
At
least they had kind of an excuse with that because it's like, oh, we'll wait till what the courts decide and then we'll do that. But with they're not going to do anything.
No, and I could be wrong. I mean, if they recasted, if they were to recast the Flash, do you like Ezra Miller as the Flash or no?
I don't mind him, but I'd be open to a recast. I wouldn't. I don't mind Ezra Miller, but I'd be open to it.
I want Andrew Garfield. I want him a redemption.
I would love him
as
too.
A superhero, dude.
I just think he's way past being a superhero now. He's just focused on serious, smaller movies.
Yeah. You know who I want to see step into this that hasn't yet? And I actually thought he was going to do it once he won the Oscar, and that was Leonardo DiCaprio. Because I really thought after winning his Oscar, this is going to be like, okay, I'm going to go try and do some other fun things because he's never done them before. And I still think eventually in his career, we will. I think eventually, if we're going to get him in anything, I think we'll get him in the DCEU, to be honest. Yeah. Just because the MCU.
He works with Warner Brothers a lot, too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He's closer with Warner Brothers. But I think if we're gonna get him, we're gonna get him in something like the Joker or like a Joker type thing where it's
I see him more playing a villain now than some sort of hero, but he's gonna be like a big villain, I would think. You know, some people wanted him as Riddler.
See, and I remember there were rumors about it when Dark Knight Rises were coming out that he could have been the Riddler in it. I remember there was rumors about Joker. Honestly, I would love him as Two-Face. I think he would kill as Two-Face. As Harvey Dent,
he probably would.
I think if they brought him in and did all that stuff. So it's definitely interesting. I'm very interested with this whole Batman thing, but kind of getting back to the future of films and kind of just discussing, I think the only other film I do actually see getting pushed back this year to another year is Dune. I think Dune is the movie that I don't see coming out. Are you excited for Dune at all? Do you like Villeneuve?
Well, okay, I am excited because Villeneuve's involved, and I love what he did with Blade Runner. Because I remember I hadn't seen the first Blade Runner before Villeneuve's Blade Runner came out, and I was like, okay, this is all right. And then what Villeneuve did with it brought it to a whole nother level. So same thing. I'm not that big in Dune, but I really want to check out what he does. The other thing we got to talk about with this involving Dune is marketing campaigns are just gone right now because movie theaters don't even know when they can say, oh, this is when my movie's coming out, so here's a poster, here's a trailer. So I think Dune was planning a big marketing campaign because it seems like Warner Bros. Was really wanting to push that this is our new Star Wars, this is our new Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
And that goes with a big marketing campaign. So they might just have to push it so that they can do that campaign.
Yeah, I feel like they were going to start it during CinemaCon this year, and that obviously didn't happen. So
probably.
And same thing with Kong versus Godzilla. Does that get pushed? Does that get pushed again?
Especially since it's open right next to James Bond
and Black Widow, so it's kind of.
Oh, that's true.
So for me, I know me and Ren talked about it on our podcast. I actually think that movie gets pushed up. I think that movie's pretty much almost done. I think it's been a while. It was supposed to come out in March. It got pushed back. I think the movie's almost done. I think if theaters start going back to normal, we could actually see that movie in September or August. Now, if it does get pushed, it'll probably go to early next year. I'm super excited for that one, but Dune is one that I really think, like, I know some people are having the argument that like Villeneuve's not accessible and stuff, but I think this is gonna be his most accessible film yet, and I think they want it to be a Star Wars. They want it to be Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. Like, they need a franchise like that, and I think they're gonna tell Villeneuve you gotta make it accessible. Like, you can still do all your things, but like you gotta have those action sequences. You have to have So I'm
so
curious.
Weird that he can be that talented and people don't show up to his movies. Like, does he need to do like a superhero film just to get his name out there, like a Taika Waititi or whatever, to just be like,
maybe
no one really was screaming Taika Waititi until he did Thor, and now he makes a Jojo Rabbit or a Free Guy, and people are pumped. So Villeneuve might have to bite the bullet and make a superhero movie just to get his name out there, and then he can go ahead and film. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, dude, he would kill as a Green Lantern. I could see him doing a Green Lantern or a Martian Manhunter or Justice League Dark would be really cool. I know J.J. Abrams working on that right now, so it's interested. In the live chat, they do want us to discuss Ezra Miller. I've seen it like a couple of times. So thoughts on Ezra Miller? I mean, when the video came out, I was like, it kind of looks fake. But then as more reports come out and it turns out to be real, that's where I'm like, okay, I don't know exactly where this is going. I don't know where this is gonna kind of go about. For me, and then someone asked, which is more cursed, Flash or New Mutants at this point? New Mutants is done. I think that's the one that's more cursed at this point. I think the problem with Flash is there's so much there's so much news that comes out of the DCEU that they probably don't want to do. They have someone just sitting in their office listening to stuff and saying, I'm going to tell everyone about this. So, and then someone asked, do you think the Flash movie is going to be canceled? I don't think so. I think they just recast, or
no, it's not.
They don't do anything. They just do it. I mean, I think Andy Muschietti works so well with Warner Brothers. They're not going to just, hey, we're going to take this movie away from you. They're going to do it. And I think, have you done a video on Flashpoint, on any of the Flashpoint stuff that they've talked about?
Just when the news came out, and I think it's cool, but I think it's weird for it to be the first movie.
I do too, and honestly, if they recast him, I think it actually makes more sense to do a Flashpoint in the first movie.
It does.
Because you set it up, and you literally just have to bring in Wonder Woman and Aquaman at this point. You can say Shazam's in that world, you can say Batman's already in that world. All you literally have to do is bring in frickin' Wonder Woman and Aquaman. Like, that's all you got to do at that point. You don't, and Cyborg, I guess, too, but
I don't know, man. I really feel like they're really stepping away from these team movies. I think they're just sticking to the solo stuff now.
I think for now, and then I think what they're gonna do is do these solos for like the next 5-6 years, and then do a Justice League.
Okay.
Where everyone's kind of forgotten about that last one, which I still don't hate. This is why I just think they need to put out the Snyder Cut and be done with it. Whatever's on it, just put it out. Even if it's like an animation that's not done and it just describes what's happening, because that is some cuts of a film. People want to see it, just give it to them, be done with it, and then move on. And then, because it's always gonna be in the word of the public eye now in that whole entirety. Someone just asked, do you think we will get a Venom trailer will come? I think same thing with Halloween Kills for me.
Again,
both those trailers will come once movies are opening back up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. As soon as AMC or a big theater chain says, hey, things are looking better, guys, we're opening doors July 30th, then that's a for sure guaranteed theaters will be open. Our release date will be met. Here's the trailer. Until then, we're not going to get to see any of those big blockbuster trailers. That's what there's reports saying that the Venom trailer was going to come out, and I'm like, I just don't see it happening without even knowing if theaters are going to be open in October.
I think it was going to come out. I think it was planned to come out, and then which I'm still surprised that movie is coming out before Morbius. I thought they would have pushed Morbius back and moved, but then Venom killed in October, so I kind of get like they don't want to sit on it too much, and I think Venom is the film they need because Tom Holland's in it. I mean, if Tom Holland does not show up in it, I'd be shocked. I think that's the one that they're like, we got to do this one before the next Spider-Man film, and Morbius can kind of push.
I would be surprised if Morbius has some sort of cameo. That way, that's their marketing to where it's like that way people know Morbius is in our universe and people go see Morbius.
Yeah, I mean, I think Spider-Man's your favorite superhero as well, right? Because
he's my favorite. Yeah,
so I love having this discussion. Do you want the Sinister Six, man? Like, do you want the Sinister Six as much as I do in the MCU?
Oh yeah, I want it so bad, and I think they've set it up really well for this third film. But I don't know what the holdout is, or maybe it is just setting up all the different villains, or it's just how many times Spider-Man has been burned with a multiple villain movie. But I really want it. I
want it so bad, and at this point, I'm just like, come on, just give me the Sinister Six. And this is my thing. I don't think this third film will have the Sinister Six. I think it will establish it officially, and then the next one after that will be a Sinister Six. In fact, you could probably even do a Sinister Six movie that they were planning at this point. Set these villains up a little bit more, and then bring them all together. So what is the lineup you are hoping to get from the Sinister Six?
So, I mean, hoping, or the one that I just think logically will happen because of
logical, and the one that what happened.
Okay. Logically, I think. Well, I mean, you gotta have Vulture in there, even though I guess by the end of Homecoming it doesn't make sense because he seems kind of chummy with Spider-Man, but with him showing up in what was it, Morbius, I'm like, oh, maybe they'll just make him a villain again. So Vulture, hoping Kraven is in there. Venom, what was it? I don't think Mysterio, as awesome it would be, I just don't see Jake Gyllenhaal coming in for that type of movie.
I don't know, dude. He looked like he had a blast in Far From Home.
He did, but I don't know. I think of the pedigree of the actor, and I'm like, is he above that? Is he not to get back in it? But it would be awesome if he did. What's the other? Oh, Scorpion. They have him being set up. And
Michael Mando's coming back. There's no way they do not have Scorpion show up for that.
What some of the people you want in it, or that you think?
So, I mean, like, if I were to have my definitive one, honestly, I would want Norman Osborn in this world, but I do not want him in a like as the Sinisters. I want him to be putting it together. I think it would be really fit well inside the MCU to have him be like the anti-Tony Stark. And I actually thought they were going to do that. I actually really think Kevin Feige was planning that, and then the whole situation went down. I think that was truly the big thing that they wanted to do. And dude, I want the pedigree of like a Matthew McConaughey as Norman Osborn. I think he would just destroy that role. Also, Sean Chandler is in the live chat. Thank you so much, Sean, for joining.
Oh, hey, Sean.
Pretty much everyone else joining in as well. But also throwing in, if I want Mysterio, man, and I would be utterly shocked if they didn't bring back Mysterio. But at the same time, you do say it is Jake Gyllenhaal. Will he want to do this? Probably not. But I mean, if it's the one I want, it's Mysterio. It's Craven. I really want Sandman in there, but they won't do Sandman. That's the thing.
Not to do anybody that's been done already.
Vulture, Scorpion. We'll probably get a Shocker in there, and then, I mean, they'll probably do Venom, which I don't get. Like Venom and Morbius for me, like reading the comics, they've never been like the biggest part of. I think actually the smartest thing to do is you could probably set up 5 of the members, and then the 6th member could come in the 4th one, and that would be Doc Ock. I think Doc Ock, you have to have somewhat in this interpretation of it. So I think that's what's insane. But knowing Sony, they're going to do Morbius, Venom, Mysterio, Vulture, and Scorpion, and then probably Shocker, and they'll just be done from there. But I want Craven as well, man. I think Craven would be perfect for the 3rd film. I think there's not another villain I would think would be great in that role.
Do you think they'll work out the whole deal situation to extend Spider-Man in the MCU, or do you think it's bye-bye Tom Holland?
I think there's going to be 2 scenarios for this. I do think there's a backup plan that if they don't decide to go with, and I think that's why they're starting to establish him in Venom, starting to establish him in Morbius, and I think that's why they're starting to reference some of the MCU. But my thought is, I think with this new contract right now, they're at like one film that he teams up in, which I'm assuming will probably be Young Avengers. It's gotta
that
be
makes
Young
the most
Avengers.
sense.
The only other one I could see him showing up in is maybe Doctor Strange to kind of show the multiverse type stuff. But I don't know about that because they already have Scarlet Witch in there, and Blade I'm actually predicting will probably also be in there. I mean, there's Moon Knight. I mean, you have a lot that you probably got to set up in that one as well. So I think the Young Avengers is probably the one we're going to see him show up in.
Yeah.
But
that's what I see as well.
And then we'll probably get a Spider-Man 3, which will also tie into the MCU, finish out that trilogy. I think it's tough. I do think there's a backup plan to kind of have him in this different scenario where he's kind of just, the events took place or some multiverse happened, like a la Spider-Verse, which I think is their big keep thing. I think if everything goes bad, they're just going to go do Spider-Verse. Yeah. And I don't think they could get Andrew Garfield back, but I could actually see him getting Tobey Maguire back, especially with the way that it kind of ended with Andrew Garfield. I could be wrong. I mean, maybe Garfield wants to do it for a short cameo. I mean, dude, I got no complaints. You get all 3 of them together. I would freak out.
I would lose my mind. Yeah, that'd be my favorite thing is all. The thing I think they're working out with this deal is that I think they'll be able to keep Spider-Man, and I think Sony probably said it, and that's why we see it happening right now. It's like, all right, fine, we'll extend the deal if you let our movies reference the MCU. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we're seeing.
I agree with you on that. And I think that's actually the perfect thing is pull like a Daredevil thing. It's in the world, but we're not going to play around with it unless we want to.
Yeah.
And to be honest, even if you did say Venom is canon in the MCU, I wouldn't be pissed. I didn't hate the movie. I know some people did, but it's not like it affected the MCU in such a big way. It was done by a completely different studio. And if they want to bring that in, they can. I mean, for me, Sam Raimi is in Doctor Strange, man. Come on, he has to do a Spider-Man thing in there.
It would be great.
He has to. Someone did just ask, what do you think will happen in Deadpool for Deadpool 3? Do you think he will be in the MCU?
I don't. I feel like because they want to keep him rated R, they will let him do his own thing, get his own movies. Maybe because even they could have their cake and eat it too, where he's not part of the MCU, but Deadpool will make jokes about, hey, the MCU did this or the MCU did that, but I'm not a part of that, kiddos. They make a good point where it's like you can't tell parents to see this rated R movie that's connected to all these PG-13 movies and are companies owned by Disney. You know what I mean? Yeah,
no, and I agree. I mean, for me, I love the Deadpool movies. I love the first one. First one's one of my favorite movies of all time. The second one, though, the more rewatches, the less I like it, definitely, because of some of the choices they take with, especially with the killing of Vanessa in the beginning. I hated that choice of that. I think that was the dumbest choice you could have done for that, especially the way you brought her up, built her up. I think Deadpool 3 still happens. I think we do see something happen. I think Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness could have a cameo with Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool in it. He opens up a portal, you see him, he closes it. just something super small. And I think he can play around in the world. It's just when he shows up in the MCU films, he shouldn't cuss. And I don't think he should. I think these characters should come to him more or less. I think having a Spider-Man come to him, which if we don't get Ryan Reynolds and Tom Holland together, I'm just that's the biggest really disappointment. Sad, yeah. Like we didn't get Wolverine, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine in the Avengers film, so that's something to not lose out on. But I think Deadpool's the thing that he's going to be rated R. They're not going to throw money out on the table and not have him be rated R. I think they tested the water with that PG-13 cut of Deadpool 2, and it wasn't that good, to be honest. So I think it's very interesting to say the least, and I think that's what's exciting about the future of filmmaking. I think right now is actually, just as it is exciting for us to be a little bit more creative on YouTube, I'm sure a lot of these filmmakers are now excited that they get to do more time with their stuff. They get to take more time with their scripts. And as much as like movie news is not coming out, there's still stuff happening behind the scenes. I mean, we know there's still stuff. Like, while like Kevin Feige ain't sitting by his poolside not doing anything. He's discussing what are we gonna do? What is the next thing we're gonna do? And I think that is what's most. I think that's what's most exciting. And also, we have some other people joining in. We got Pairweight in the live chat. Thank you so much, Pairweight. Yes, I caught your podcast. John Chandler throws in, Deadpool was always loosely tied to the X-Men universe. You can do the same loose connection with the MCU theme, break the fourth wall, and make the references without needing to show up in the team-ups. I literally agree with that 100%. I think that's kind of going to be the best way. And just to let everyone know, we are reaching to the point where I'm going to start taking more live questions. So make sure to throw them into the live stream. If you want to have your questions answered by me or 3C, make sure to throw them down there. And of course, if you guys are new here, hit that like and subscribe button. Also, head over to 3C Films if you've never heard about him. If you want to hear movie news, movie reviews, all sorts of stuff like that, he does do them all over there. And is a sweet background. It's just great to see it kind of like evolving over the time period and how you've really loved Funko Pops now. Dude, that's how I am. I'm like in this crammed little corner over here. I'm like, I kind of got into those Marvel Legends and Star Wars Black Series. Yeah. Which is, dude, those Marvel Legends have like killed me. Like all up above me is like a fuck ton of them. Yeah. And I went to Walmart for some supplies yesterday and I found the whole Black Widow new wave. And I just sat there and I was like, hey, fuck it. I don't need toilet paper today. So,
expensive, man.
They do. I mean, honestly, yeah. But I don't know about you. I have a couple stores near me that I can't wait till they open back up because they have a lot of cool
those little collectible stores and stuff. Yeah, I get you.
So it's really crazy. Okay, so one thing that for sure, will we see a Five Nights Freddy movie? Anthony Corona asked. I think we will eventually.
Yeah, we will. Jason Blum, I mean, recently went ahead and confirmed that yes, they're still working on it. I just don't know what the holdup. Well, the holdup is the script and all that, but it's like,
dude, I do not think the creator should be that involved. I get it's his property, but dude, the game, he's ran those games into the ground, and for me, it's like, it's not that hard to do the movie. You could literally make a basic script off the very first one, get it, just the concept alone you could have fun with. The only thing about this is I think people are going to be like, it has to be rated R. It's not going to be rated R. This is going to be a PG-13 movie.
Really? You think? Actually, you're right. The fan base is children. You're right.
And that's the thing. Dude, I could even see them. They won't go PG because there's no way they can get a PG rating. But if this was back in the day, it would be PG. But I really do think it's that creator's fault, man. What's his name? Scott? Yeah. He should not have any. I get he should have some input. And they should have the best script possible. And I think a lot of it is he wants to build up the lore in a sense.
Yeah.
But just do the first one, make us interested, and then do that for a second movie. Because I think the games peaked at 5. I think 5 was like the house one. I didn't really play them all the way. I liked watching people play them because it was entertaining. But I think we will eventually get one. But I'm going to be honest, I don't think it'll be good. I think we have a fantasy.
I don't, especially if it's a PG-13. Yeah, and Blumhouse is hit or miss sometimes with the way they do it. I'm hoping for good things because there's a lot of people excited for it. But yeah, you made good points about it possibly being PG-13.
Jennifer asked, "Do you think Taron Egerton will play Wolverine?" I actually think he's the most likely choice to play Wolverine.
I could see
because of his relationship with Hugh Jackman. I think he actually would fit. Do you think Free Guy will be put back? No, Free Guy won't go back to July. I don't see it. No. What would you think of Dylan O'Brien replacing Ezra as Flash? Wouldn't be surprised. He's a big.
I like Dylan. Big
friends with Warner Brothers, so wouldn't be surprised on that one. He does need another franchise. That's a pretty good choice. I could see him going that way,
Dylan
especially with the fan base. No, wouldn't be my first choice, but I like it. If you guys had to pick one of your favorite movies that you'd like to be up or like to do an updated Funko Pop, which movie would it be?
Updated Funko Pop on it?
Yeah, so like a movie that maybe just doesn't have a Funko Pop yet.
Oh, the original Terminators. They don't have pops yet, but they have Terminator Dark Fate pops. So I would like some original Terminator movie pops.
I agree with you on that. I think for me, I don't know. That's tough because like a lot of the stuff they've already done. I would want the 2024 line, to be honest, with like Midsummer.
That would not be bad. They have a witch pop. It's the goat, but that's about it.
That's like a lighthouse pop would be cool. Uncut Gems. Who would not want Adam Sandler as a pop? Dude?
I would.
You like Uncut Gems?
Oh, I loved Uncut Gems. I thought it was good. It was so suspenseful. The ending made me mad, but I mean, it was the way of the story.
Totally. Someone asked, have you had to restrict yourselves on what you watch because of how the world is right now? No, not at all.
Not really. No, it's more of like what do I watch? Because you just watch everything now.
Do you think Halloween Kills will get delayed? I don't think so.
No, unless for some reason another movie decides to pop into October that's really big, it's not going to get delayed because it'll have a domino effect because their next movie comes out next year, which is Halloween Ends.
That one getting pushed back.
Really? Okay.
Just depends how big next year is, dude. Like, think if Batman Suicide Squad start a movie, which I actually have a feeling Batman might get pushed to Suicide Squad and Suicide Squad gets pushed to Batman, where the release dates are, because Suicide Squad's done filming. That film's done. They just got to start editing, post-production, probably a couple of reshoots. That film will probably be done beforehand, but who knows? So Sad Scoob and Ghostbusters delayed. Your thoughts? We talked about Ghostbusters, probably the most sad out of all of them. Scoob, I was actually looking forward to it. I actually have a feeling that'll probably go on HBO Max now. I do not see that going.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. I think.
Well, they are making a Scoob series for HBO Max where they're kids, and you see those little hints in the trailer. So I mean, that could work well together. But I think they'll let that go to theaters because that'll make a lot of money. I think
we'll make a lot of money. The thing also I want to throw in with Soul. I saw another question about Soul. Someone asked, which we already talked about. If it does go on Disney Plus, I could see him still putting it in theaters once theaters go better.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. Put it in theaters for a bit and then just throw it straight on Disney Plus. Do you think cinemas will work different in the future? Yes. I think that's something we kind of discussed. I think they will go to reduced hours, reduced days as well throughout the week. And I think, I mean, you won't see as many people working. That's the honest truth. So when you go into popcorn, you understand there will not be that many people. It's just crazy to me because, like, I have this independent theater company, Harkins. I don't know if you have any Harkins in Texas at all.
I don't.
But it's like Arizona, California, like a couple other states. But they didn't furlong any of their employees, and they're still paying them all.
Wow.
But AMC is furlonging. Regal fired a lot of people. It's crazy that it's like more independent companies doing better than these other companies. So I don't know.
That's insane.
And they're way better built, dude. Like that's where like all my press screens are. Like it's very rare when they're at an AMC or Regal. It's very, very rare when
mine are all like at an AMC here in Dallas.
Really? Do you think they could introduce Harry Osborn considering Peter already has a best friend, Ned? Yes. I think Harry could come in college when he goes to college. Because I think the plan was 3 high school.
College roommate.
3 high school, 3 college, and 3 after. I think that was like their initial plan. I'll believe it if it ever
love
happens.
That, man. I love that.
I'm telling you, I want it. And I think they can do it if they just don't mess it up, man. They just don't have to mess it up. Do you think It Chapter 3 will happen? I think a
prequel?
Yes.
A sequel? No, I don't think so. Unless Stephen King decides to write another book like Dr. Sleep and The Shining situation. But no, they talked about a prequel, but I don't know if it'll happen. I have to think it will. They make a lot of money for R-rated movies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do. And I think that's the thing. You would lose out on a lot if they decided not to. I don't know. I could see him playing around the world. For me, I actually already think they should have just done a 3. I think they should have split 2, done 2, focus more on the kids again, then going into the adults, and then do the 3rd film just as the adults. I think that was the one issue I had because I liked 2 a lot. I just thought there was way too many flashbacks. Way too many flashbacks. The internet wants Grant Gustin. What do you guys think? It won't happen.
It just won't happen. I don't mind the guy. He's cool. He's really great. Does a nice job with the Flash, but it just won't happen because you'll limit the audience who think they have to watch the television series to now watch the movie. It just won't.
Mm-hmm. Jacob Juice asking, so like, do you guys think we won't get full cinema rooms anymore? Maybe like max of people? I think that's kind of what they're going to start and then start going back and back and back. Do you think a Sonic TV series could happen in the style of the movie?
Be too expensive.
No.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised they haven't announced a sequel. I'm honestly shocked.
I am as well.
That's maybe they'll do it when the Blu-ray comes out, but I'm really shocked they have not announced anything for that sequel yet.
I was just as shocked for the Detective Pikachu too. There's no announcement for that either. And
so it's
do you think there's
Sonic.
a reason for that?
Sonic, I remember they announced that there were, or like both, they kind of said we have plans for the future. And I remember they said the same thing with Detective Pikachu, and then Detective Pikachu didn't do as they were projecting $1 billion for that, and it didn't hit $1 billion. Right. But Sonic did way better. Sonic did way better. So I think they're dumb if they don't. Yeah, especially with that post-credit scene, man. Especially with that post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Which character do you want to see the most?
In the Sonic movie? Knuckles.
Yeah. Oh, see, I want Shadow, man. I want a Shadow.
Shadow, yeah.
But Knuckles,
I would love it because there's some storylines in Sonic. Yeah, there's some storylines in the Sonic where like Eggman clones Sonic. I would love it if the clone is the old design and you could just say Eggman didn't do the formula perfectly. God. And that would be so hilarious, I think.
It's very breaking the fourth wall, and I think they should.
I guess.
that would be funny. Movie Central, Zach, you want to know if press screens work much differently compared to the US? I remember asking the question, but I just would like an update. Press screens are different. It's all about networking, honestly, and just I mean, I press screens honestly just fell into my lap. Like I just emailed a bunch of people, and it worked out. And gaining onto a website who had access, and then building that website up with him, and kind of like networking through that, and then having press screens through that whole thing. Would you like Hugo Weaving as Norman Osborn? I would, but he's already been in the MCU, so they won't.
They won't do it.
Do you think Scarlet Witch will ever get a solo movie? Never say never, but I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it, but Black Widow got her movie, so we'll see.
Even no Sonic movie merch. That is true. There was zero merch for that movie. There was zero merch.
I think because a lot of it was supposed to look like the old design, and they just, I don't know if they just didn't want to do that or what was going on.
Somewhere, there's a burning pile of Sonic toys from that original.
Yeah.
I think Jordan Peele will do the Creature from the Black Lagoon with Will Smith. What do you think? I would love that. I would love that.
You heard that, right? That he's working on a monster movie for Universal and all that?
Just hope he's actually directing it and not producing it. That's the only thing I'm worried about, because everything he's produced so far, I haven't loved.
What are some of the things? I thought I only knew the Candyman.
Hunters he produced. I thought it was. I haven't finished it, but I thought it was decent. And then Twilight Zone, I was very disappointed in. Very disappointed in that.
Yeah, I was as well. It felt very. It wasn't not that good.
Yeah, it's weird. SJ, how do you think they introduce Fantastic Four or X-Men? I think Fantastic Four gets their own movie. I don't like them being introduced in another film, and X-Men, I think each character will get introduced in a different film, kind of like the a la Avengers. Yeah. I think Storm we see in Black Panther. I see this character showing up in this film, such and such and such. What about you? I know you've talked about Fantastic Four. I know you just did a video on that one.
Yeah, they said they had and Paul Rudd's script, which probably maybe that's why it didn't get approved. He was originally asked to introduce the Fantastic Four in that movie, and then who knows if it'll happen. But I think that's just how it will happen. It'll probably be in Black Panther 2, just because I think you have to let the audience know they're in the MCU, because you see them in the MCU movie, because all the other times you see Fantastic Four, they've been doing their own thing. But yeah, they definitely need their own movie. They don't need to be like a Scarlet Witch or all these other characters, or like the Hulk.
I think they do Doctor Doom first. I think Doctor Doom gets introduced, and then they bring in the Fantastic Four. Like, he's already established as Doom,
yes.
And
with
then
no connection.
Yeah, and
then he wasn't the original fifth member or something.
Yes, and then they introduced that the Fantastic Four have always been a thing, but they disappeared in the quantum realm. I still 100%, and
awesome.
Then they came out after Endgame or something like that. Most anticipated film of 2021, Batman for me. What about you?
Batman.
I think Spider-Man 3 is pretty close, but I don't even know if that'll hit the landing now.
I gotta wait for whatever the villain is. My anticipation will be depending on the villain.
Because mine was on Mysterio. If Mysterio was the villain, if Kraven's the villain, it might beat it. But for me, Batman's still there because it's so different. Like, I know what I'm gonna get from this MCU film. I know it's gonna be a little bit safe. You know what I mean? And that's the truth. Batman, I think Matt Reeves is gonna take some risks. I read an article discussing on Pirates of the Caribbean 6. Do you think we'll ever get one? Personally, I think no Johnny Depp, no Pirates 6. No. And I want one, but it won't happen. It won't happen.
Yeah, with the Johnny Depp situation, it won't happen.
Who's a character getting a Disney Plus show that you would have given a movie to?
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk's one. I think Moon Knight and Miss Marvel are also weird ones, but I also get why they're getting Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, the one that I'm shocked is getting a Disney Plus show is Winter Soldier and Falcon. I think that would have been a great first movie for Phase 4. But again, maybe it works better in a TV format. I'm not excited that they're only going to be 30 minutes, though. I still do not like that format. I wish they were an hour.
It's all for budgetary reasons. Yeah. But it might be odd situations like Mandalorian episodes were like 37 or 40 minutes or 50 minutes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Which I still didn't like. That was my one grievance with that show. They should have been hours. I know this seems out of possibility. Do you think this? Oh, where did that go? Someone just asked another Sonic question for you. I know this seems out of possibility. Do you think Sonic and Mario have movies? Do you think Crash and Spyro could as well? Crash Bandicoot, yes.
Yeah.
Spyro, I don't know.
But do they do it CGI?
They'll do live action. It's Sony. Yeah. They'll do it live action. I don't think they should. What do you think about Escape Room 2? I want to see connection to the Saw universe. I don't see a connection ever happening. Escape Room 2, no. I know you liked it. I hated that fucking ending. It ruined that movie for me.
Oh, yeah. The movie. I don't disagree. The ending sucks.
The second one could fix it a little bit for me. It just that ending felt like, oh, dude, people might like this. We need to reshoot something right now.
Yeah, it went really off the deep end when they went into that one trippy room or whatever. But I just like the sets and the puzzle pieces and all that. And the second movie, hopefully it saves it or it'll just kill it.
Yeah. How do you think Trolls 2 will do this week? I saw Trolls 2. I mean, they're not going to give any projections for the movie. That's just the honest truth. Unless it does amazing. I think it'll actually do better than people are expecting, but $20 is a lot. Unless you're a family watching the movie, it's actually not that price, but that bad. Do you think there could be a solo sequel or spinoff? I think Disney Plus spinoff is the best way, but it won't be solo. It'll be Crimson Dawn. They'll focus on Darth Maul and Kira, but I don't even see that happening. Are you excited for the Eternals? What do you think will happen? I'm so excited for the Eternals. Can't tell you what will happen. That's my most anticipated for the Phase 4 right now.
I'm definitely going to watch it, but my anticipation or excitement for it hasn't really gone up. I think I need to see some footage for it. I'm not there yet for Eternals.
Damian Scott, hey, Zach, tell 3C Film I said hello. He says hello.
Hello.
Do you think Batman will be rated R or PG? Rated R. Or no, rated R. It'll be PG.
Yeah, PG-13 now. This is Batman, man. They're not going to do that.
It's supposed to be rated R. After Birds of Prey?
Yeah,
they changed that. But I know James Gunn wrote that script to be rated R, so that's...
And he shot it as rated R, so unless they want to spend money censoring everything, I just don't know.
Since The Rise of Skywalker, I've been sat here craving the original 3-hour cut. The whole movie felt like there were scenes missing. It felt like it was missing something. Did you feel that? I just felt like there was tampering. I don't know if there was like an actual 3-hour cut out there.
I was just very disappointed with it. And that's me just as a casual Star Wars fan. I was hoping for a lot more, but
I watched the podcast with Ken Knapsack, who talked about Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, and he actually made me like it more. Like the way that he talked about it. So I keep telling people, go check his stuff out on Star Wars. It actually makes me not hate it. Like, and I didn't even hate it. I hated aspects of it. Like that kiss, I rolled my eyes at. That's the thing I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah.
It's dumb. Do you think Sonic and Mario will ever have a crossover film? If Sonic ever gets a sequel, and if Mario ever gets some movies, I know there's coming out, but I'm not excited for an Illuminations Mario film.
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna go because Illumination isn't. I've barely liked most of their movies. I don't even know how they're gonna do the fifth Shrek movie because they're also working on that as well.
Are they doing Shrek? Illumination?
Yeah, it's a reboot, but it's the same voice cast, so I don't know how that works.
God, I hate that. I fucking so much. That is like, I do not even want to see that. Is this going to be like the first remake of an animated film where it's like beat for beat the exact same film? I could actually see them doing that. I would not even be shocked. I wouldn't even be shocked.
I think it'll just be a new adventure where they don't reference the old adventures. God, that's what I think.
God, that's so bad. Do you think Birds of Prey flopped? I don't think it flopped. It made its money back. It just didn't make as much money as they wanted it to. And I think a lot of it had to do with this virus. And I don't think anyone's talking about that because it was just starting out.
That's true.
All right, we're going to take three more questions, guys. Do you think they will release the Snyder Cut of the Justice League? I think eventually, yes. Yes. Some form of it, but I think a lot of that comes on Zack Snyder. I think Zack Snyder wants to be good. which actors would you want to see most see in Knives Out sequel?
Oh,
okay.
I was about to say Michael Scott, Steve Carell, Steve Carell, John. Basically, a lot of people from The Office. John Krasinski. If not, who else would I want? And Andrew Garfield would be great. He needs to be in a more not blockbuster movie, but I think a wider audience film.
Like a Knives Out.
Yeah, like a Knives Out would work for him. Some female actors, Scarlett Johansson.
Dude, I'd want Robert Downey Jr. I'd want Robert Downey Jr.
Oh yes, you're right. What are some people you want?
Taika Waititi would be fun in there.
Yes, he would.
To not because you don't want to go like too over the top. Something I've always seen is that bring back the original cast, but just change up the characters they're playing, which I actually really like that thought.
That'd be funny.
I know Daniel Craig is coming back as the detective, which I just love. I think Tom Hanks though. I think Tom Hanks in it. I want to see Tom Hanks in a Rian Johnson film, man. And then probably one more is Star Wars. I would love for him to take some Last Jedi. Mark Hamill, take Harrison Ford,
John
Boyega. Just take the whole cast. Adam Driver's one that if he's not in it, I would actually be kind of shocked.
Oh, I love Adam Driver, dude. That's actually really smart. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the last one I'm gonna take is what do you think about Godzilla versus Kong? What did you think about the last one? I loved it. I loved the last one.
Oh man, I didn't love it. For some reason, I wasn't all that into it, even though it was a lot of great stuff. We wanted monsters fighting. I was just a little I liked it, but I was a little underwhelmed with it. Godzilla vs Kong, I think it's just building up so much excitement from fans that I hope they can meet it. So this one is the one I'm most excited for, and I'm Team Kong.
All right, I am too. I actually think Kong's gonna win. I mean, people say Godzilla's gonna win, but no, Kong's faster. Kong will fucking wreck him. Even if he's a little smaller, I know they're gonna age him up, he's gonna crawl up his fucking back and start, like just totally fucking him up. Awesome. I think the thing that I'm most excited about with Godzilla vs Kong is the director involved. And in fact, that it really feels like Warner Brothers wasn't really reactionary with this one. It seems like they said, okay, we're going to take the complaints from this last one and we're going to come in. And from test screenings that I've read about, it seems like they got a lot of the human stuff out, which is the biggest issue. Yeah. And I think that's the thing that I'm curious. But then there will be people being like, oh, there's not enough humans to further out the story.
I don't get that, yeah.
Fucking story. I just need to see them bashing their fucking heads in, it's that easy, man. But that's where we're gonna kind of leave out this podcast. Thank you so much for joining me, man. Let everyone know where they can find you out. What do you have coming up? I know you talked about that Jaws thing. Let everyone know where you kind of where they can find you out and what you got coming up.
Yeah, you guys can find me at youtube.com/3cfilms or on Twitter at 3cfilmreview. I'm going to be working all weekend on that Jaws thing, seeing what other things I could possibly come up with just because news is dry. But Zach, thank you so much for having me on, man. It's a lot of fun talking with you. You're obviously very passionate about movies and you know your stuff talking here with you. So thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, man. I when I was putting this together, and just so everyone knows, tomorrow, every Sunday for going future, until I go back to work or until I I am going to be doing a live Ask Me Anything. I might bring guests in, I might not. That's kind of what this one is for, is to kind of just talk about movie news, talk about everything, kind of let you get to know more about whoever I do bring in, whether it's a smaller channel, a bigger channel, whether it be, I wanted to bring in 3C because I also wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and kind of let your audience know a little bit more about you. So I wanted to bring him in as one of the first guests. Do look forward to what I am bringing in next week. I think next week I'm probably going to bring in a Patreon supporter, so do look forward to that. In general, I hope to see you guys next week on Sunday for my Ask Me Anything live. You guys structure that show because you guys asked the questions. Again, Chris, thank you so much for joining. Really means a lot. Love your videos, love your content, and I hope if you guys have never checked out any of his stuff, go binge all of his stuff today. So thank you guys again so much for watching this, and of course, until next time, stay classy. Sweet, man. That is it.